It begins by coming in with an open mind. The way things are currently operating in Jefferson City, it's very much an adversarial process. You have, I actually, when I was working down in Jeff City, this wasn't the fellow that I was working for, but one of the other representatives. I was having a conversation with him, and he told me, we were discussing a bill, and he said, this bill here is a really good idea. It had been proposed by a member of the opposite party. He said, this bill is a really good idea, but I can't support it. And I said, why? You agree with the bill? And he said, well, I can't support this bill because it was proposed by a member of the other. I don't want him to get credit for it. And that attitude is still in existence down in Jeff City, and it's people on both sides. If anybody who says, well, no, if we just change, and have a democratically controlled House, that everything will be wonderful. That's a very naive way to look at the government process. There are problems on both sides. There are people on both sides who are not willing to work together, and I think it comes with that first day, the first opportunity that you have to work across the aisle, the first opportunity you have to work within the party. It's going down with the open mind and not owing somebody anything down. When you get down to the Capitol, it's going down with a blank slate and being willing to work with the other party, being willing to challenge your own party, which I'm willing to do. I do not go to bed at night and read the Republican Party playbook on what I'm supposed to think. Okay, I don't read the talking points every morning. I don't care. I look at each issue individually, and I make up my own mind based on what I think is going to be right, based on what I think is going to be the best for the people of the district, for the state, and then on larger issues for the nation. So it's really, I think, a matter of perspective. If you go down with an open mind, and you haven't spent your entire life trying to advance somebody else's agenda, then that at least gives you the opportunity to be able to work together and bring people together and build consensus. If you go down with the automatic, this is an adversarial process, and whatever I do, whatever Democrats propose, I'm going to oppose that. If whatever Republicans oppose, I'm going to oppose that. That kind of attitude is really what people are frustrated with, I think, right now in politics.
What would you say really does separate you?
Are you talking about specifically on the
yeah,
issues?
just on some of the issues. I mean, why are you different? What you've already talked about, education, I guess, is the one thing that you bring to the table that maybe some of the others
Right.
don't.
Well, I would say if you look at the individual issues in dealing with education, support for the university, and support for academic freedom of the professors here, which is another thing. Legislators do not belong teaching college-level classes. That's just, if you've been down there, you spent much time down in Jeff City, they don't belong. Ed Robb is the exception. Okay, he can teach economics, but I think I think there is a lot of agreement there on public education and support for the university, and what I bring to the table is the fact that I'll be able to advance those ideas, and I'll be able, we may agree, but I'm the one who's going to be able to get more done and expedite it, because I'll be able to work within the majority party. I won't be working against the majority party, and I'll be able to take in the areas that we have disagreement. I will be able to take some of those ideas that my opponents might have that I might disagree with, but I might be able to work those into something to compromise that I would agree with, and I'd be able to advance those. And being in the majority matters. It really does. So that's really where the biggest difference, I think, on those particular issues lie. Is who's going to be able to get something done? Who's going to be able to go down there and doesn't already have enemies? Because I won't have enemies when I get down there. I haven't spent a career in Jefferson City, so that's the biggest difference on those key issues. I'm trying to think of, healthcare. I think we're all pretty much in agreement that within the as long as it does not affect the funding for public education or the university, to the extent that the budget allows, we're going to reinstate some of the cuts that were made to Medicaid in 2005. I think we're in agreement on that. So again, it's a matter of who's going to be able to get it done. I'm thinking that I think all of my opponents on the Democratic side are in favor of mandatory employer-provided health care or health insurance, which is something that I do not support, and the reason is because we're losing jobs in Missouri. Particularly in the 25th district, and particularly in Columbia, Missouri. The median income in the 25th district is $27,000 a year. Statewide, it's $42,000. We have a job shortage in this district, and maybe not just a numerical job shortage, but we have a shortage of good quality jobs in this district, and we need to be doing things to encourage small businesses to expand and to hire more workers and to train more workers. And when you put a huge cost, a huge burden, mandatory, and require it of employers, that's the unintended consequences. That's the same idea of no child left behind. You're solving one problem, but you're creating a whole new one. So that'd be one area that from what I've gathered from my opponents that there would be some disagreement. I would say that the one issue that I hadn't mentioned yet, and I think really needs to be a central issue of this campaign, and very few people are talking about it. It's really kind of disconcerting to me, is addressing the issues of crime in the community right now. I've lived here my whole life, and I can honestly say I've never seen crime the way it is right now in Columbia. Violent crime had spiked, I think, early in the year. The violent crime has tailed off a little bit, but there's still the number of robberies, and the types of crimes, the home invasion robberies. It's really frightening, and I really think that the legislature can do more to address public safety. And again, just like I say, legislators shouldn't teach college classes. They shouldn't teach elementary school. They shouldn't be cops either. So I don't like it when the legislature passes laws that limit what local law enforcement can do. But what we can do is we can find money to provide some more block grants to local law enforcement so that if they need more cops on the street, they can put more cops on the street. If they need technology, if they need new police cruisers, they can use that money for whatever it is they need to combat crime. And particularly in communities like Columbia that are seeing an increase in crime. And it's one of the things that I think has separated Columbia from other communities across the nation. Has made us a place that businesses have wanted to move to, that makes it an attractive destination for people to raise their families. It's the fact that not only do we have the university, great public school system, but we have a reputation for being a very safe community. That's not something that we can afford to lose, because once you lose it, it's gone. And there are people that are very, very concerned across that I talk to across the state about the rise in crime in Columbia, and that's something we have to take very seriously. So, obviously that's not just something that we're going to make available just to Columbia, but statewide, we need to support local law enforcement. We have to do that. And I'd also say, since you made the mistake of giving a politician the floor, the last thing I also didn't mention that is a personal. Personally held belief is that everybody in this community and everybody in this society needs to be a faithful steward of the environment, and I think my particular emphasis in conservation is in the protection of habitat for wildlife. And in Missouri, our natural beauty is truly one of our assets, and we can really turn this state into a tourist destination. And we have the beautiful Ozark Mountains and other parts of the state that are really just waiting to be utilized as a resource for people like myself who want to get outdoors and don't want to just rent a hotel on a beach and want to get out and do stuff. People of our generation and our age.